Okay, it's June 8th, 2018, and here's a turtle I just recovered. Not sure which one this is. Measured the mass is 697 grams. Length is 154 across the shell. Width is 121. And the height is 80 millimeters. There's the gram scale, and there's the giant caliper. Just by the aspect ratio, this looks like a female. Here's what the shell pattern is. This was fairly timid until I had it here for a while, and then it wants to get away. It's got a slight undercut, but very little, so pretty sure this is a female. Undercut, big undercut usually means a male. This was soaking underneath a bush, so if I go through and take the data here, the dome height, 80, and go through all the different ones I've got, it could be a 17, a 13, 11, or a 9. Then if you compare the length of 154, very close to 11, width 121, slow close to 11. So I went online and looked at some photos I had, and this is number 11 here. So just by measuring the length, width, and height of the shell and comparing it to the other ones I've got, it rules out a whole bunch of them. Generally the dome height doesn't get smaller. So anything 80 or less is a good aspect to look at. So if I go look at number 11 here, it first was recorded in June of 2015, so that was 3 years ago. And I actually put some notches in it. So if you look at this, lo and behold, there's a notch here and a notch here. Let's go look at it. Here and here there's a notch. And there was another one over here. Notches only seem to last. They're kind of variable around here because if a raccoon chews on it, this will go away, so it's not a totally foolproof thing. I was notching a lot of these years ago and kind of stopped. I was just using the ID pattern. But there it is, very distinctive. 2 notches and then one over here. I've had them where I've notched one and then a few months later it's gone because a turtle, something will go through and chew on this, or raccoon, and it'll just destroy all that. But the biggest thing I've found for identifying these is the dome height. Even if this gets chewed on or gnawed on, unless it gets sort of crushed, the dome height's sort of a decent variable to check. The mass can be all over the place. So 3 years ago, this turtle was dome height of 77. It's gone to 80. Width's about the same. Width is sort of hokey because that gets kind of worn down or chewed on. And then the length's about the same. And I said this is 25 years old, but I'm not really sure, honestly. This one last year laid some eggs in the front underneath the tree, and then they never did hatch. I put a screen over it, structure so something wouldn't dig it up. But this one was soaking underneath a bush and was never coming out, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I figured it was one of the regulars that was sick or just a totally different disposition. There's the prior data. 2015. Here's didn't see it for 2 years. 154, 122.79. Video, banana, notch still good. I should probably mark, I'm going to mark in here notch is still readable. So we're going to go ahead and let it go back to where it was. But some of these turtles around here, the wild, you only see them for, was it 8 months, 10 months or something like that. You only see them a few times. And if they don't come out of their shell very much, it's hard to get the eye color right. It's early in the morning, so we've got probably a bluish tint to this. Okay, I've added here that the notch is still okay. Now we'll put a small leaven on it, which will wash off. And there it goes back into the underneath the bush. There's number 11 submerged in some water. Got a drip for a plant here. It's a soaking hole area. Again, I thought this was one of the regulars that you see, but this one was just down in the water, so I ended up reaching down there and grabbing it because that's one that I thought was one that got hit by the mower or something, but it was just one that you normally don't see. Got a different disposition.